got a little O for their own use. We let the razor-gotten scrapings dry out in the small metal candy drop tins. After a few days, there was enough to smoke some of the stuff at night around the yellow light of the kitchen, inhaling the sweet, aromatic vapors. On a regular schedule, the company was preparing and rehearsing in the villa's large open rooms. The new plays were Frankenstein, an adaptation of Mary Shelley's epic, brought to modern life on a monstrously huge stage set, which became the monster's head itself, and a 3-story tall monster, grown from the police state of modern times, threatening the audience. And the other new play was Mysteries. Actually titled Mysteries and Smaller Pieces, in which the company enacted rituals and visions, seeking to draw the audience into an inner space, a space of enigma and wonder. Further along the tour, the company acquired VW minibuses, or vans as they're now called, to travel the European landscape. But before the vans, we went by train. So we departed the sweet hillside town, driving to Rome's rail station and embarking by train for the next shows. At each new town, we lugged luggage to a pensione, a sort of small hotel where everyone stays. Then we were off to rehearse. In one city, some friends of the producer want to make a recording of the audio from one of the scenes of one of the plays. They have arranged for us to meet up at a studio where a small sound recording system is set up. This particular scene had been brought to the company as a theater exercise which had been learned in India. First, we all stood in a ring, shoulders close to each other's shoulders, then extended our arms over each other's shoulders, forming a tight circle of people held close by each other. Bill Showery, a scientist turned actor, explained what to do next. Just listen to the silence. Then, listen to the breath of the person on each side of you. Feel their breathing. Hear the sound it makes. Listen to the rhythm of their breathing and bring the sound of it into yourself. Feel it and breathe out the sound you hear. Sounded like mighty strange instructions to me. Bill went on, don't hum, don't sing, don't try to make a pretty sound or an unpretty sound. Just breathe and listen and breathe again. When you hear and feel the sound inside you, let your breath bring it out. We got very quiet. For a long time, all I could hear was people breathing. Then slowly, very slowly, I heard a deep, slow sound from around me, as though the deep, hidden gears of a slow, moving, gigantic machine were turning, creaking along. The sound rose through the throats surrounding me, and I felt the sound from the left and right drawn into me and my own breath. It was easy then just to let the sound out on the next breath. And I felt that slow, deep sound pass through me and out into the room, joining the others. Another breath, and I was letting it happen as naturally as though I had done this or heard this before. There was a rumbling harmony I seemed to be part of, that I was helping to make, but that came from somewhere before or beyond or within or around me, like the turning of some giant gear or the axis of the earth. The sound I was drawing from my nearest companions, and that they were drawing from theirs, seemed to come and go round the circle and through all of our lungs and out upwards and surrounding us like a reverberating chord, propelling us toward deeper, fuller breaths and a resounding higher bell-like chime, like 100 bells at once, like the hum inside the hive, like the sound of all the leaves of fall crackling, like the waves on all the shores crashing at once, more sounds than I could name in one clear unity of pitch and tone and harmonic beauty. Slowly again, the sound came down, quieted, became softer, just a shade, a shadow of what it was. Then softly, like a whisper of lovers, coming to sleep in each other's arms, quiet came round us again. Did you turn the recording tape on? Someone asked. When I returned to the United States, I heard about this thing, this chanting thing, again. I heard it called an om, but the theater always called it a chord. And when I heard about it in the US, it was always with some kind of guru up at the front of a class, leading the chants, one breath sound at a time, or a group of people sitting cross-legged, apart from each other like in classrooms, school rows, doing 3 long chanted om breaths or something like that. Never as intense as the arms over shoulders, holy donut of voices in celestial harmonies. The theater used this chord in the new play, Mysteries, in a scene following a Jackson Maclow poem called Street Songs. Julian would sit at the center of the stage, lit by a single small spotlight, and intone the lines to Jackson's poem. Lines which reflected the populist social causes of that era, and after some time, actors and actresses sitting among the audience would join in, echoing those lines. Slowly we would come join Julian on the stage, first walking in a circle together, then joining hands, forming the circle, coming to the stillness, and finally joining together in the chord. It was always one of the most memorable moments in the theater. Sometimes, whole parts of the audience would rise to the occasion, coming on stage too, putting their arms over the shoulders of those in front of them and lending their voices to the swell of the sound. There you go. Now, I know we brought that chord. We brought that chord and actually did it around the center campfire. Me and a group of us who knew each other, and a few people who joined in, did it around the center campfire at the very first Eugene Renaissance Fair. And you can read about that in another chapter. So, how's my time going? Where are we at? What do we have time for next? What are we up to?
5:49.
It's 5:49. I think I have time to read one more piece. Can I read another piece?
Please.
Okay, here we go. Oh, this next act, this is going to be some of the opening night party that I was talking about. There you go. That's my living room. That's I'm growing up. Paul Goodman, the philosopher, actors and actresses. Kerouac on the left, Ginsberg there, Corso over here. Oh yeah, they're passing something back and forth. I'm not sure if it's a cigarette or it's a doobie there. There you go. You can see it close up. I'm not sure which it is, but there you have it. It's the beatniks at play. And blowing into the champagne bottles, making noise, having a great time. Me popping the bags. Go blam! Wasn't that a good time? Those are things that were fun.
That's great.
Oh yeah. Terribly sure of myself then. There you go. Now we're pouring the champagne. It was a great review. It put the theater on the map, and I'm making a toast. That was before they had those things you couldn't let the kid drink. There you go. My mom, Eileen Fulton, who left the Living Theater, and this is their child actor here in a rehearsal. There we go. Terrified. She plays, that's Nina, she plays the devil's mother. Watch out. So I'm going to read another little piece here that is from after we landed at the farm. We're skipping huge parts here, but I just want to read this. I'm going to read a little about the Equinox party at the farm the very first spring we were there. We're how many minutes to 6? We're 10 to 6? Oh, this will work just fine. And we'll have time for signing and reading. Here we go. In the Oregon Coast Range, the first sign of spring is that the rains turn warmer. We've made it through our first cold winter. We decide to hold a spring equinox celebration. All of the communes along the wet backbone of Oregon's Coast Range must be feeling as pent up and pent in as we are. Since we're the newly landed ones, we figure it's our time to invite everyone over to the Rainbow Farm to celebrate the equinox of spring. Bear. That's right. says he'll build an open-air kitchen down in the lower field, not far from the river. Augie helps him set it up, and they plan to crank out huge stainless pots full of lentils, green split peas. Can't stop stirring that one or it'll burn on the bottom, right? Pioneer wisdom. Brown rice and chai tea. With all the people traffic that's been wandering through the farm, it's not hard to put out the word by word of mouth. Sensibly, we decide to park all the cars on the upper dry slope and lay out a softball diamond in the lower field. We figure we'll gain some help with the various farm projects, meet the folks from the other landed communities, and have a grand time of it. The Rainbow House in town helps spread the message. People start arriving and tents spring up throughout the woods and across the meadows. The Crow Research Organization farmers from Veneta arrive. Any old Crow farmers in the audience? Oh, God bless you! Yes, the real deal! All righty, yes. They've been on the land for years already, and they chuckle at all our beginner ways. The Lorien people traveled from near the California border. Anybody here up from Lorien? I didn't see one, but maybe. There we go. From San Francisco, and the street people come from Eugene. Yes, indeed. From San Francisco come the Medical Opera, a free clinic, clan, and midwifery center. Lots of individual travelers, hitchhikers, a few old friends, but lots of young travelers on the road arrive. A woman and her boyfriend show up. He's just helped her escape. Walked her away from the state mental hospital outside Salem. And the STP family shows up, known widely as bikers without bikes. They want to know where they can party in their own rowdy style. So we show them to a place between two fallen over apple trees where they can make their own kitchen. The whole place is dotted with cars and people. Lots of people from town show up. Most, by town I mean the little logging town that we were near. Most of them don't want to join the party, they just want to watch. So they park along the road. The region's sheriff, Charlie Orr, arrives. He asks, how are things going? And we tell him just fine. A man is staring with binoculars at the naked people down by the river. He complains to the sheriff about the indecent exposure going on down there, and Charlie tells him he better put those binoculars away. Or he's going to come under the peeping Tom ordinances, and what would his wife say to that? So he just keeps on watching and passing the binoculars around without making any more complaints. They see some of their friends down there making pals with them hippies. Barry says we ought to hold a council so people can talk together, listen together, and find out what we are really all about. Because it ain't just a party in the woods, is it? No, he says, cocking his head slightly. These people here have got a lot going on during the rest of the year. And we should use this equinox to hear what everyone's doing and what all these people are really thinking about. A couple shows up with a bag full of green flat LSDs. She's raising money for some medical operation and wants to sell these to raise the cash. Some rich hippie steps up and buys them all and then just gives them away. Then 5 burly loggers arrive, and they do want to party. I recognize these guys from some other scenes in town where they terrorized a couple of blithe freaks just a few months ago. Busted some poor hitchhiker's teeth. They come on over to the main house asking where the party really is. And one of them says, I heard there was going to be a drinking contest. Now where's that going to be at? I can see they're carrying liquor bottles. I'm trying to think fast on my feet. Sure. Come on with me. I'll take you right to it. And I walk them down to the lower field, just being as friendly as I can. I bring them over to the STP camp. And they come in loud and ready for I'm not sure what. But when one of them starts up with, so this is where the hippies drinking contest is, up staggers January, a long time STP-er. You knew January, yes. He's been lying down, half passed out. and he rises to his feet, already pretty loaded. He's wobbling a bit, and he hollers back, "Yeah, brothers, this is the place, ain't it now?" He's kind of swerving a little left and a little right, and he turns open the metal cap from a gallon jug of one of those Gallo wine bottles. And while he's got everyone's attention, he starts chugging it, chug-a-lugging it, and we're all watching. And the bottle is getting emptier and emptier, and no one can drink that much. He's got it tipped into his mouth from the side, kind of hunched over a bit to get below it. One finger through the glass finger hole, not missing a drop. And now the whole damn thing's empty. He tosses the bottle heroically up, end over end, high into the air, still hunching over. He looks slowly around at everyone who's been watching him in disbelief, half growling and half asking. He bellows, "What do I win?" I left those loggers right there, figuring they'd about come to the place they'd been looking for. Bear's Kitchen is cranking out hot stew and tea and cider and salads. We hold a huge circle for grace and dinner. Rob Roy has his drums out, and echoes of drums and people and sweet melodies fill the valley through the night. There you go. The food was great. The food Bear made was great. I want to do short question and answers, and then I just like to sign people's books, and we'll come up this way and we'll write something and draw some doodles. What a good audience. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Beautiful. Beautiful. Question.
Well, I have a statement.
Ready.
So I want to add it to your public from town story. Because, you know, I ended up working in Drain for many years. And at one time, I worked with the wife of one of those people who would come up the hill to view the naked ladies working in the garden.
Oh, yes.
And when
Yes,
he
we had
asked me
those.
about that, he said, "Do people still work in the garden naked?" I said, "Yeah, they do, but it's not the ladies anymore, it's the men." And his wife said, "Hey, should we take a drive upstairs?" Hold on!
Yes. A question back there. Reggie.
Yeah. Well, actually, again.
Yeah, comment, question, pitch in, please.
All right. I don't know if any people from here know this, but Garrick here was the first midnight show. All right. No.
There we go. There we go. On and on and on and on, you know. Yeah. There's more stories than could fit in the book, but I tried to keep it corralled so I could make certain points. Thank you, Reggie. Those were great times, those early fairs. I had such fun with you partying out there. Oh my God, I'd love to come to the fair and do reading at spoken word. Can we talk about that after this evening? More questions? Yes?
Do you have the concept about writing a sequel to that book?
Yes. Yes, because more or less the book ends in 87. There are a few little tendrils that go forward, but it ends in 87 because this is really where did we come from, what are we part of? And that's I think, what I've been trying to do here. I think I want to bring it up, and I think the next book has to have a lot of the history of the Rainbow Gatherings, legal cases that, frankly, for all that there's still problems, but frankly, preserve the rights of public assembly on Forest Service lands for everybody. And we did that. And yes, there's still fusses, but it would have been, you wanted 10 or more people in the forest, you would have had to go through heck and bureaucratic high water to do it. And now there's still fusses, but we have reached a certain degree of truce where they recognize our lawful right to assemble on our public lands, And we recognize that they're out there hassling people on the road on the way in. We're trying to fight that. We're still fighting that. But, you know, the quest for equal rights and equal justice, even if you win every case, there's still the further shore. There's still the further. This is an infinite job to establish the human rights and the other species' rights and the plants' rights and the Gaia-sphere's rights. And I know every one of you has signed up for the lifer contract for that job and that position. And next question. Is there one? Yes, please.
Yeah,